knowing what I know now, I wish I did this 10 or 15 years ago. So my name is Dr. Kerry Salsberg. We've been in business. I'm a second generation optometrist. We've been in business for over 50 years. We've had 6 moves, all sorts of iterations in our office. And one of the things that I've learned from my father was that for every dollar you invest in your practice, there's no better return. You get $3 or $4 or multiples thereafter. I think optometrists are very gun shy about investing in their practice, investing in equipment, in making their office look the part. And I think we realize at a very early stage that when we make that investment, it's going to pay dividends. And that's not why we do it, but that's the bonus of putting money into your practice. The patient experience is better. The doctor does a better job. Staff are happy. Doctors are happy. So I think don't be afraid of putting money into your practice, expanding your practice, thinking outside the box. Knowing what I know now, I wish I did this 10 or 15 years ago. Now I probably have another 15, 20 years. And if my children decide to become optometrists, I'm going to love reimagining Eyecare when he or she's ready for optometry. I love the investment and I love what the return is in terms of patient care and revenue streams. Retail as we know it is dead, but reimagining retail, making it an experience, having touch points that patients go, wow, merchandising appropriately, reinvigorates your retail stream. Don't shy away from an optical gallery. Embrace it. You own those patients. Just make it relevant to the patient. Make it an experience for the patient so they don't want to go anywhere else. Our project, as you know, took many years to come to fruition. And so I scoured the world looking for design elements, how retail was really powerful in certain areas in Japan, in Europe, in the States. And so it was very important for me to have a partner that understood my vision, was a visionary himself, and taking those design elements and then bringing them into the optometry world, making sure that patient flow was good, the touch points were impressive. And as much as it's painful to go through the coloring and the floor plan, the end result was fantastic. And working with somebody who wants the same thing, that has this blank canvas and can paint this unbelievable picture is rewarding in itself. Working with you and your team and your daughter, it was memorable. It was frantic because we were going through COVID, but I'm just thrilled. Not only am I thrilled with the process, but our patients are just captivated by the space that we have. Our doctors love it. Our patients love it. Our staff love it. So it's been a project that, as much as I don't want to do it again, I would do it again with your team. And I look back and I say this to my wife, I say this to my doctors, I don't think I would change anything. I think the outcome is beyond my expectations compared to where we were and how it was a hodgepodge of different compartments and offices. We were bursting at the seam. We needed to do something different. And this is beyond my expectations. And I think those are my patients as well.
One of the simplest things when I get introduced to a doctor is that I try and get their perspective on what is important to them. And what I was taught through all the years of with my background in construction and design and everything, is that the workplace is just an extension of your home. And to be productive, you have to feel like you're at home. Yeah. That you have that element of relaxation, that element of comfort. Mm-hmm. And it rubs off on everyone that's around you. Like your staff pick up on it. And it's just a ripple effect from the staff being, motivated by how you feel in the environment. It lets them absorb that same energy. And then obviously it just gets transmitted to the customer, to the patient. And it's shown through all the different practices. Like, I hate to say this, especially on film, that, for the first 3, 4, 5 years, we thought we were just fluking it off. He's saying, oh, we just got lucky. We got lucky. We got lucky. But the feedback that we get, and it's not just from the doctor, but from the staff, and then the feedback that they get from the customers, this is not a fluke. This works. Yeah. Our concept, our take on what this business is expected, it works. You have to excuse the pun, evolve.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you talked about a ripple effect, and we see that our staff are happy, our doctors are happy, our patients are happy, and it just elevates everybody's pride in what they're doing. Retail as we know it, traditional retail is dead. If you don't evolve, if you don't reimagine optometry, you're kind of dead in the water. And a lot of practices these days have decided to go more medical end as opposed to focus on retail. We own those patients. We can control their buying decisions, but we have to provide a landscape where they feel comfortable. They're immersed in this amazing experience. The merchandising is there. The touch points are there. They have to feel like they're in this wonderland of retail, because that's what good retail does right now. And I think your insight into what motivates the consumer, the psychology behind purchasing, is reflected in what we've done here. And I think that a lot of companies offer a cookie cutter approach, one size fits all, and it doesn't work. You have to look at your demographic. You have to look at what type of lines you have. What do you want from retail? What's the end goal? And I think that we've captured it here quite well.
What you're getting at here is also the branding part of this, where you can, it's real easy. You go into a catalog and say, I want one of these, I want one of these, I want one of these, one of these. And every third or fourth store looks exactly like yours.
Right.
Now the customer picks up on this, right? Yeah. The customer, from what I'm feeling and what I'm getting from all the feedback, is becoming more demanding. They want that pamper. They want that feel that they're not just a number. They want to have that relationship. And yes, providing the canvas, providing the platform, obviously is a big help in selling what you have to offer. You have the customer that's walking through your door, mm-hmm. and that customer is expecting services. The more services that they can get under that one roof, mm-hmm. it gets appreciated 10 times over, because they've got the confidence. And when they have the confidence, they're not looking to nickel and dime, which is what you get in the box stores and what you get in these cookie cutters that we call. So we're trying to offer a customer experience, which I think is, we haven't seen anything yet. This is just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's the only defense that we have with these big box, with the big names, with these monster corporate offices, where you could make a difference, because we can control that environment. We can control that our services, which can't be replicated by corporate. There's just no comparison.
Well, you say, it's the personality of the doctor, the personality of the patient base. And what you've done is you've created a space that really stimulates the senses. You can see from all the fixtures, we look at light, sound, the scent, all the touch points, the stations that we have. And I don't think that this is replicated in any other offices. We've used design elements that we've seen elsewhere, but we've made it into such a place that, whether it's the coffee bar or the new frames we have or the fridge with the products, people like coming here. They like the experience. They like how open it is. And it's unlike any other office in the world. And we're, again, super proud of that. And we're evolving too. Every year we want to do something a little bit different.
Always adding something. Yeah.
Right? We're always adding something, whether it's a new product line, different ways of merchandising, or maybe a different screen. We just offered, the new coffee machine. We have patients that come in for the coffee, and again, we want as many touch points with that patient as possible. We want them here to adjust their glasses. We want them here to buy artificial tears. We want them to see some of the new lines that we have. And again, it's just, I spend 8 hours, 9 hours a day here. I spend more time here with my staff, my doctors, physically here than at my home. And I want this environment to be super comfortable for me, but also great for the staff and patients. And we've done that, and we're super happy.
That's one of the best rewards we get, is when we hear that the doc is happy going to work. That is one of the best rewards. That
and I have a good marriage too. It's just, and I've always maintained we did not do this for the money. We did not do this, but the money does flow when you build something that's this impressive. When everybody is elevated, and the mood's elevated, their work ethic is elevated, when we have all the machines that we need to make sure that we're providing the best eye care experience possible, the money follows. And I mean, it's a great benefit, but again, do it for the right reason. You want to be in a comfortable environment. You want to provide the best care possible. And you want to control the buying experience of those patients. There's no reason a patient should leave our office, because we feel that we're the best at what we do. We feel that our product lines are great. We feel that we're in an environment that is super impressive, that patient experience is elevated. Why would they shop anywhere else?
Well, what I'm hearing is that you're saying that is you're passionate.
Passionate.
That's the word here.
Yeah.
Just like we are at I Evolve, we do it, why do we do offices that are 700 square feet? We can do offices that are 10,000 square feet. We're passionate about this venture that we've taken and specializing in your industry, and making sure that we always stay leading edge, okay, with your industry. And we're happy that we're not one of these companies that say, we want 500 jobs a year, we want 1,000 jobs a year. We want the customers that have that passion, okay, just like yourself, okay. That's why we've become such good friends, okay, because we really have that same feel. The way you come into work here, and you've got that. You're happy to be here. You're happy to put the hours in. You're happy to see the rewards that you're giving your staff and your customers. Same thing with us. We feel that we offer something that's very unique, very family oriented. We keep an open mind. We try to keep an open mind with everything. But at the end of the day, we love doing what we do.
Yeah, and to that point, you are just as proud of what you've accomplished as what we have. The experience that we're in, and everybody's had a bad contractor where they've gone, whether it's a house renovation, an office renovation, and the person that's spending the money cares so much, and their concern is that the contractor is going from one project to the next. I think that you and your team care often more about the experience and what we do. You just are passionate about what you do, and you will tell me, hey, this doesn't belong here because of this, this, and this. You have that experience in terms of retail and touch points and patient flow, and I may have a certain perception of what would work in here, and you may say, this won't work. You care. So you're not just listening to me, you're providing constructive feedback so that we make the right decision the first time, and we don't have to redo it again.
Every project that we've done, and don't take this the wrong way, even yours.
Yeah.
I replay it. I constantly replay everything that I work, my hands touch. I always replay. What could I have done better?
Right.
How could I have streamlined it a little better? How could I have saved a little bit more for the doc? Okay. And I constantly replay it. At the end of the day, I think that's what keeps us always pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Because we want to keep learning, and we keep listening, and and adjusting and accommodating. And yes, when a doctor is adamant about certain things and they're dead wrong, and I know that they're dead wrong, I'm straightforward with them. Say, listen, it's like you're spending my money. I put myself in every single person's shoes.
Yeah.
I get used to their comfort zone on what I think, how and what I think they should be spending, okay? Not to strangle themselves. And then I will adjust I will adjust what we design, what we build, okay, based on something that is at their level,
Yeah.
okay, with and leaving the potential of that, that growth, because that's the other key thing here is that you don't, just like we said, every year we're doing something over here. We know, again, this is proven so many times now that, 98% of the offices that we've done within 3 years, they're expanding. They need more space.
Right.
So that's why we know it's working. Okay. But we always, when we design, whether it's the cabinetry or the layout and some of the other POPs that are inside there, we do it in a way that if the doc does have to expand, that we've taken that into play already to make it cost effective, so that some stuff can be carried forward, compared to this catalog shopping that once this you're
Right.
you're stuck with this for until you either out of the business or you sell the business.
Right.
So that's the other key thing with us is we're always thinking future, not just for ourselves but even for the growth of the individual doctors. So
Yeah, no, I agree, and I didn't want to get into a relationship with a person that said yes to me all the time. Again, optometrists are very insulated. We think we know what true good retail is, but we're in 10 by 10 boxes all day long, and sometimes it's nice to have that perspective where you've seen the world and you go, I know that's what you want, but this is why it's better. You care. It's not a transactional approach. We're not ticking off the boxes. You have a counter here and your optical dispensary there and your 6 rooms. You give it some thought. And I think collaboratively, we worked great together because I knew that you were thinking about what's in my best interest. And I knew that you were passionate about doing a project like this. Now, irrespective of the budget, I've seen some of your projects where it's half the budget of mine and they still have these beautiful design elements. So it doesn't mean that you're spending all this money to get, a Taj Mahal. You can have a smaller budget, but have something different. It doesn't mean that it's just cheap. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It means that it works for the budget that you have. And I think that's very important. If you have a 700 square foot place or a 10,000 square foot place, you want to maximize the utility of that. You want to maximize the experience. This is the hand that you're given. We're going to make sure that we play that hand as best we can. And I think that's what's nice about your company and the people that have given us advice in terms of whether it's colors or fixtures or lighting levels. I entrust you. I evolve to give me the decisions that's going to make my business grow. And it has.
okay. Having said that, one of my biggest challenges is trying to get the doctor to have don't take it the wrong way, a better business sense. Something that unfortunately is not taught in the universities. And their guard is way up. Okay, and this is not even a small margin. I'm talking 80%, 90% of the ODs have this. They have this lack of business sense. Don't take it the wrong way, okay? Because you weren't taught this. You were taught to know what to do on the other side of the frother, okay, or on the side of the slit lamp. What is the simplest way that you could tell your colleagues, okay, on an OD level, to have an open mind on what they're actually giving up and letting walk out the door, which drives me absolutely insane. When I walk into offices that have 20,000, 25,000, 30,000 freak charts, sorry, I swore, 30, they have these crazy amount of charts, and their capture rate is like 30%, 27%, like crazy, that they're happy, or they don't know any better, but they're letting these customers walk out the door with a little piece of paper to go get filled at some box store that has no clue how to provide the service. So all this effort that you've done, all your expertise, your history, everything that you've given this customer to be able to see the best they possibly can, is walking out the door with this little piece of paper that isn't going to get filled properly because they just don't have the expertise. The doc has the entire formula. It's there in their hands. I need to know which buttons to push for them to open their minds a little bit and see what they actually have and what they're letting walk out the door.
I think that doctors or people in general are afraid of the word no. They're afraid of being rejected. So what happens? Optometry is now being directed to the medical side. Why? Because it's a service you can only get from us. There's no competition yet. If you give the patient a reason to purchase from you, if you ask the patient to purchase from you, and you're not afraid of being rejected, understanding the psychology of selling, understanding that that patient likes you, otherwise they wouldn't be in your office. Give them a reason to do all their business with you. So don't take the path of least resistance, which is, I won't go into contact lenses, I won't sell glasses, I'll just take care of glaucoma and macular degeneration, maybe dabble in myopia control. You control those patients. They like you. Most optometrists are great people. But I think the fault of optometry is that we're afraid of the word no. And great salespeople aren't selling. They're listening to the patient, they're finding what their wants or needs are, and they're solving those problems. But let's solve them within the office. Let's embrace great retail. Let's get those patients back in purchasing from us because we can do it. They want to do business with you, give them a reason.
You have to educate them.
100%.
It's all part and parcel of the service of showing them. You know, everyone wants to see better. They don't know that they want to see better, but we've got all these gimmicks. All these high definition. Everyone's coming out with a brighter and crispier screen and everything. That if you can't see it, what's the use? And I think the docs do see it, that everything is in your favor. Right now, the demand for sight is, we're past epidemic proportions. Past. Right. I think I was saying this 7-8 years ago, that we were past epidemic proportions back then. The demand right now for the sight, for being able to see your tablet and in your phone, is just, it's never going to slow down. Mm-hmm. It's just going to keep ramping up higher and higher and higher. And the customer has to know what is available. It's easy to go to Costco or Hakim or LensCrafters, whatever, and $80-$90 and you're out of there already. But then I'm looking at a $2,000 phone. I don't see the math. But the customer has to be educated about this. Say, listen, you're so demanding, but yet what you put in front of your face is not like, they need that push. They need that curve, that education, so that they know what options they have in lenses and shapes and everything, for each individual. Like me being in the business for almost 15 years now, and I'm still learning. Right. Saying, what can I do with my eyewear so that, my peripheral is a little better, so that I'm not compensating, whatever. And I'm in the business. I can only imagine the 99% of the people that do walk through the door that have to be taught this. So
well, you got to tell the story. You got to lean in and be curious with your patient. You have to create a value proposition. You got to let them know. But I think the main thing is that we've almost commoditized glasses and contact lenses, and what we need to focus on is fashion, because fashion sells.
Oh, huge. Yeah.
How many people are wearing Canada Goose jackets and not living in the Arctic? How many people are wearing a Gucci or Valentino shoes? So we have to add that element of fashion, and we have to lean in, and we have to make sure that what's important to us may not be important to the patient. So we have to stop talking, listening a little bit more, and having that confidence where we can solve your problem. I often rationalize it as, why would you go elsewhere? We have a one-stop shop where we have fashion, we have best-in-class products, we have opticians that will educate you on why these lenses will work for you, and we listen to our patients. But I think we have to stop being afraid of selling. Selling is not a four-letter word. I think we sell all the time. We sell in terms of glaucoma medications and the compliance. We sell in terms of lid hygiene. We have to stop being afraid of selling products and services. And embrace it. I mean, we have tremendous lines. We've scoured the earth to look for the best lines possible. And we're proud. We know that this line is only available in our office. Tell the word, shout it out to everybody. You know, our social media accounts are filled with new product launches, unboxing. I think that it is up to optometry to embrace retail now. Otherwise, the false protection that they feel with medical optometry, somebody's going to come in at a lower price. You see that now with Specsavers. $99 for an exam, including an OCT. Now you have all these doctors that are so nervous because that was the one thing that was protected and now it's not protected. Again, if you race to the easiest thing, you're going to lose. It's a losing proposition. I think we have to innovate. I think we have to embrace new products and services. I think we have to tell the story, let patients know. The old adage, if you build it, they'll come. That doesn't happen. You got to build it. They're going to come, but then you got to convince them why they should do business with you.
You got to service the build.
100%.
You got to service the build.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's very complex. It's multifactorial. You have social media, you have touch points, you have the when they make an appointment, when they visually come in and see the office. There's competition is fierce. And again, patients are coming in because they like us. We need to capture that patient back. Yeah. And I think it's possible. I think there's one element of design and flow, but there's also elements of getting out of your comfort zone, understanding the psychology of selling, and selling to your patients.
Yeah, I think the point that you're saying with the fashion, the demand that we've got for fashion now, that's just the cherry on top, really, yeah. Because it's a given that if the customer is satisfied with your service. Okay, the fact that whether you're charging 5, 10, 15, 20, 30% more than going elsewhere, there's a value to the confidence and the service that is achieved between the customer and the office, you know, which you're not going to get from the box stores. You're not going to get them from the lens crafters. You're not going to get them from the online. Okay, who are you going to go bark at when you put on your glasses and you go and bump into something because something's wrong?
To your point, I mean, we talked about fashion and how important it is to the consumer, but you can have a Gucci frame with poor lighting and a Gucci frame with really good retail lighting. We've traveled to Milan. We've gone to Yorkdale. We've seen how these top-end luxury retailers are doing it. Merchandising is key.
Yep.
And so again, if you want to really show the color, the attention to detail, you have to have the right lighting, the right merchandising, because that's what sells. When you go into a store like Dior and you see a handbag, you don't just see a handbag, you see the stitching in the handbag, the contours, the contrast of colors, the workmanship. And that's one of the things that I really love with what you've done is the lighting, the vault. So in our 10 by 10 vault, that is the highest revenue per square foot in our entire practice. Why? Because the perception is that this is leading fashion, bespoke eyewear, best in class. And patients gravitate to that area. They go in and they touch it. It looks the part. They go in and touch a frame. And then we tell the story that this frame was manufactured in Japan. There's only a limited edition. Look at the detailing. And patients buy into that story. So again, if you have a flat Costco wall with 1 million pairs of glasses, how are you going to differentiate one round frame from the other? Yeah. Whereas if you have merchandising and lighting and product mix that's not overpowering, but very conducive to the eye, the experience, you are going to sell.
Yeah, frame count means nothing. Frame count it means a lot less than what docs think that it means.
Absolutely.
They think that putting 1,000 frames out means that their sales are going to.
It's a sea of confusion.
Not at all.
Right?
No.
You can't differentiate it. If you go to high-end retail stores, they don't have thousands of SKUs. They have a couple of dozen. And it's visually pleasing to the eye. And I think less is more works in retail. Have other lines in the drawers, but only showcase certain number of frames.
It's a bit of a tease.
It's a tease.
It's a bit of a tease, which is a stimulant.
Yes.
Okay. So again, we're not trying to sound like car salesmen here.
Yeah.
Okay. But we do have to think retail. Okay, so we've got the diagnostic. There's only certain ways that you're going to lay out your diagnostic, but with the retail and the fact that you have to evolve, yeah, you have to think about these key little strategies and how to keep it always interesting and like I said, teasing enough, and that's a big part of the retail market.
Well, you think about if you're purchasing a diamond, what do? They have these spotlights, the diamond glistens. We have to do this with our frames because they do sparkle. There are nuances that you just can't see in flat light. So I think the merchandising end and the overall experience of showcasing these pieces of art, and that's what they are. The frames are pieces of art. At least that's the way we should be conveying that to the patient. Yeah. So show them as best you can, and they will come.
Well, it becomes part of your personality.
Yes.
Right. And a lot of people, this is what is part of the education. It's part of the learning curve for them. They don't know any better.
They don't know it. Well, a lot of women come in, and men, and they have 16 pairs of shoes, 14 belts, but they have one pair of glasses. This is something that you wear. That's the first thing that people see on your face. Not only are you seeing well out of, but people are looking at you and making judgment calls. So if you have a frame that looks like this and wearing Valentino shoes, guess what? That's not the whole picture, right? So I think it's super important to educate patients about that.
Yeah.
Just as you wouldn't have just one pair of shoes if you're a tennis player or a hiker or going out to an event, we need to educate patients that it's all right to have multiple pairs of glasses with different colors and different functionality.
Yeah, exactly. Over and above the use, over and above what they're using them for.
Absolutely.
It's just strictly the fashion. That's why there's just so many different levels that the doctor can capitalize on. Okay. And again, not to sound like a used car salesman, the more services you provide, the more education that you provide, it's a win-win for the customer and the doctor at the end, because the word of mouth is explosive. They go back and they say, I might have paid 10% more for the frame, but I can't even put a dollar value to the service that I got there. I'm so overwhelmed that they embraced me. They explained to me all my options, and I felt yes, I'm sold. And again, but you have to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
The thing is that the docs have to keep an open mind, that if you want, we can give you the canvas. Mm-hmm. Okay, we can do this pretty beautiful, but then it does switch hands. It goes into your hands after, and what you do with your customers. Yes, we're there for support and whatever, as we have been for the past 4 years or so, but at the end, and again, you are evolving too, mm-hmm. because you have to change with the times of what the demand is going on. Just as frame lines change and lenses change, and who gets bought out and who doesn't get bought out. There's all these things that you have to constantly think about, and how that affects your customer at the end. And again, we can talk for hours on the staffing and on all the educational part of, how to keep your staff in queue with the way that you want the office to run. But I'm really happy that we met. I'm really happy that we saw something that we were going to conquer together.
Absolutely.
Okay. And, for me, this is why I still have a key to your place, Kerry.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel when I come here, I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah. And it does feel like home. And listen, I would encourage any optometrist that's going through this process, and it's a scary process. You got to spend money. A lot of people don't want to spend money. They don't see the value in their second home, which is really their primary home because they're working here so often.
Exactly.
I would encourage those doctors to get over that fear. I would encourage them to go to a high-end mall, to travel the world, to see how retail is done right, and then choose a partner that has the same passion, the same vision as you have, and have fun doing it. I mean, we had fun doing it. Even through COVID, we got a kick out of all the waterfall, the vault, the interactive floor, the lighting. I mean, I wouldn't give that up for the world. And I think one of the things that I will always remember is that it wasn't painful. The process wasn't painful. It was actually enjoyable because we saw the vision. We saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and it was building and building and getting better and better. And my staff were engaged and super happy. And this is a dream practice. And I am so thrilled that we chose you and your team at iEvolve to make this dream that I had a reality. And again, I would do it again in a heartbeat with you. So thank you.
It was an absolute, it was an honor.
Thank you.
It was an honor.
Yeah.